I want you to bookmark again the definition of Zionism. Please go read it. Please go understand what it is, because
Well,
it's not the European movement.
do you
Because it's not the European movement.
do you know what Zionism is?
Of course I know.
Do you know what
It's the will to go back to Zion, to the land of Israel. It has nothing to do with the movement that you're talking about from Europe, about Herzl. It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with that. All Jews around the world are Zionists. Most of them. A lot of them are going against.
But that's no, that's false. That's false. Not all actually.
So what's Zion? What's Zion?
There are many anti-Zionist Jews.
You know why? Because you guys are
Zionism,
scaring the shit out of them with your protests.
So modern Zionism is the nationalist movement to establish a Jewish state in Palestine specifically. Right, that is what modern Zionism is. I mean, if you go back to 1897, 1898, where Theodor Herzl literally defined this as that. I mean, that is Herzl's Zionism, right? That is Ben Gurion. You know Ben Gurion? That is Haganah. That is Israel.
Hamzah, why do Jews want to go back to Israel? Why did they want to go back to Israel for so many years?
Jesus.
That's exactly the same reaction you had last time we talked.
Did you? I mean, so Zionism is interesting. I think if you can I talk for a bit before, like, I know, because I'm gonna say some stuff that you might want to interrupt me in, but just can I talk for a bit? Yeah. Oh man, some freedom. Okay, so Zionism, the idea of having a Jewish state was not even from the Jews themselves. It was a British project in the 19th century, a British European movement, a colonialist movement, an imperialism movement, right? They wanted control over the Middle East after the Ottomans, but they also had a problem. They called it the Jewish problem, right? They wanted to get rid of the Jews, right? And also establish control over the Middle East. And I think, so I mean, they supported this idea in the 1860s even. This was before Zionism was actually given the definition by Theodor Herzl in the Congress in 1898. But then Zionism became a thing in 1898, right? This idea originated back in the 1860s, as I just mentioned, with the British, and the origins of Zionism, as I mentioned earlier, is imperialism. It's colonialism. Those are the origins of Zionism.
Okay. Can I talk now?
I mean, yeah, sure, and maybe once again, I mean, you may have your own interpretation of what Zionism is, but this is what it is. I mean, practically, this is what it literally is. And you may not like hearing that. You may have a different meaning, but that is what Zionism is. Like, in your heart, you may have a different meaning, but this is how it played out. I mean, I'm just telling you historical facts and history, like what actually happened.
Okay. Zionism is the right for the Jews to self-determine in their ancestral homeland. You and I both agreed the Jews lived here 3,000 years ago. Correct? Just say yes or no.
So the ancient Hebrews are not the same people that live in Israel today.
Just like I did not interrupt you. Just say yes or no. That's all I'm asking. Were Jews living here 3,000 years ago?
Yes.
Did Jews build a culture on this land?
Hebrews.
The Jews, no. Bnei Israel.
So
it says that in your Quran. The Jews.
Well, yes, Hebrews.
No. Bnei Israel. Bnei Israel are the sons of Jacob. You guys are the sons of Ishmael. We are the sons of Jacob. That's what it says in Surah 5:20-21.
They're Hebrews though.
They're
Hebrews.
They're Bnei Israel.
3,000 years ago. That's what you're talking about. They're Hebrews. They're Hebrews.
They're Jews. Judea. The land was called Judea.
Yeah. Ancient Hebrews. The ancient Hebrews were there.
What was the land called in the Torah, in the Quran, and in the Bible?
Well, it's not a religious issue. I don't know why religion.
No. I'm just asking, what was it called? Because they were both developed way before 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 500 years ago. What was it called in those books?
Well, I mean, you're mentioning the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, as if this is a religious issue.
It's not a religious issue. I'm giving you.
Okay,
I'm giving you
I feel like that's
historical
irrelevant.
context. I'm giving you historical context from books that are very, very old. Old, and they all state Israel.
Sure, it said Holy Land.
It doesn't say Holy Land. It says Israel.
It says Holy Land, though. I mean, children of Israel from the Quran. Do
Are
you
the
know?
sons? Israel is the second name for Jacob, so we are the sons of
Sure.
Jacob.
So,
Okay, the
so
Muslims are the sons of
the
Ishmael.
Israelites. Sure. Okay. So what? Now what?
So that means that what? I'm saying in your Quran it says it's promised to the and it has nothing about religion. I'm not going to talk about religion. I'm saying the name Israel is mentioned in the Quran. The land Israel is mentioned in the Bible. The land Israel is mentioned in the Torah, meaning the people living here
Okay.
were Israelites, were from Israel. Okay? Now, the definition of Zionism is
Well,
the right for the Jews to go back to their ancestral homeland, which is Israel.
and the land Palestine was mentioned in the Greek texts.
Okay, and so what?
So, so exactly, exactly. So
So
what?
what?
Names are stupid. Names are stupid.
Names are stupid. Okay, it's still.
Yeah, it's just a name.
Let me finish what I have to say.
Sure.
The, when we talk when we talk about Judaism, when we talk about Arabs, when we talk about ethnicities, because Judaism is an ethnicity, it's an ethno-religious group. When we talk about Arabs, it's an ethnicity. Where do Arabs come from? Where do they originate from? That's the question. Answer the question, and then we'll move forward. Where do Arabs originate from?
Arabs are diverse. I
No,
mean,
no,
they
no.
don't all come
What's
from
their
one
origin? Where they
spot.
where do they originate from?
Well, Egyptians come from Egypt. Lebanese come from Lebanon. Syrians come from Syria.
That's nationalities. I'm talking about ethnicity.
No, no, no. That's
So let me
they,
let me let me
they
tell
are
you.
there. They are there.
Arabs
Jordanians come from Jordan. I mean, no, I mean they are there. They are made up of the indigenous population. I did my ancestry. I don't know if you did.
Arabs come from a place called
It
the
said
Arabian
Canaanites and
Peninsula.
Phoenician and
A-
Arab for me.
Arabs come from a place called the Arabian Peninsula, which is in Saudi Arabia. That's the area, okay?
Not exclusively. I think that was my whole point.
No, 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 but that's the origin of the Arab people. That's where it started.
Well, not exclusively.
The place of origin for Arab people is from the Arabian Peninsula. The place of origin for Jewish people is from Judea. Jewish, Yehudi, Yehuda.
Once again, like Arabs in the Levant, for example. Can you still hear me? I hear some weird sound effects. Okay,
I can hear you.
fine actually. Yeah, cool. So like Arabs in the Levant are they're not 100% from Arabia, and I think you may know that, maybe not. They're made up of the people who were living there, like the Phoenicians, like the
I mean,
Arabia.
a lot of the cultures that are currently in North Africa, in Israel, in Europe, they are all a reason of a conquest that happened back in the day, where they just conquered every little piece of land that they found. So they conquered North Africa. They Islamized the whole land. They conquered Israel. They Islamized the land as well with the Ottomans. That's what happened. That's what happened. And slowly culture started changing. And you guys,
They Islamicized. They Arabized. Hold on. We are Arabized. But where are the Phoenicians today?
definitions. Can you write it
Hmm.
down? I don't know the definition of that word. Phoenicians,
You don't know what
Phoenician.
a Phoenician. You don't know what a Phoenician is.
I mean, if I have to guess what it is,
Well,
I
okay.
would say people from
Sure.
Finland. I don't know what a Phoenician is.
From Finland. No, no, no. Your neighbors. They were also there.
Phoenicians. How do you spell that?
PHOENICIANS.
Okay, go ahead.
So, okay. Well, okay. Where are the ancient Egyptians? What happened to them?
The name Phoenicia is an ancient Greek acronym that did not correspond precisely to a cohesive culture or society as it would have been understood natively. Are you talking about the Greeks?
No.
That's what it says here.
Not well. I'm not talking about the Greeks. So okay, I don't have time to like go through all of this. But do you know Phoenicia
No.
or Phoenicia? I mean, however.
We don't have a
Phoenicia,
term like that
no.
in Hebrew. No. Or in English. I mean, I don't understand that term.
Well,
It's not my first
it was
language,
an
by the way.
ancient. Sure, sure. Well, it was an ancient civilization in the Levant, northern Palestine, and today Lebanon. So I definitely think you should look into a little more. I think it's right next to you, and I mean, also this was like 2,000, 3,000 years ago. But like what I'm trying to say is what happened to them? Where are the Phoenicians?
Where are they?
Well, yeah, exactly. What happened to all the civilizations and people in the Levant? I mean, the
I mean,
Phoenicians
I know the
are
Jews. I know
Lebanese.
the Jews were displaced. I know the Jews
They
were
are the
displaced.
Lebanese. They are the Syrians and the Palestinians. We are made up of them.
Come.
I'm not gonna come on camera because I don't want you to post me on your TikTok. But Phoenicians were Greek, so maybe you should do some research. Phoenicians, like that's where like language came from. Like the oldest languages are Phoenician, Hebrew, Aramaic. So if maybe you should do some research because Phoenicians were Greek, and maybe you're talking about the Philistines.
The Phoenicians I'm talking about are the ones in the Levant. I mean, today it's Lebanon.
The Phoenicians did not come from the Levant.
Northern.
They did not come from the Levant.
They come from Greece, did they?
Yes, they did.
Mediterranean.
Yes, they did. They were Greek. They were not from the Levant.
Mediterranean, though. Like I mean, they were in the Levant. What are you defining
as Mediterranean, though? Like, what's your point?
They were in the Levant. They were in the Levant.
Are you talking about the Philistines?
I think this is.
You might be talking about the Philistines or the Moabites.
No, I'm talking. I'm talking about the Phoenicians. No, I think maybe you're just trying to hyper focus on something so we don't move forward. But I mean, I'll let you do that if you'd like.
Like you can look it up on Google. Phoenicians were Greek.
Well, I don't know about their ancient connections or whatever.
But why are you talking about
them? They were in the Levant.
Wait, so why are you talking about them if you don't know about their ancient connections?
My feisty wife.
Because they were in the Levant, not Greece. That's my point.
But
Lebanon, modern Lebanon.
They're not from the Levant. They're not from the Levant.
Well, no, they were in the Levant.
I can tell you who's from the Levant. There were Moabites. There were Canaanites. There were.
Well, that's not my point.
Jews,
they were in the Levant.
I don't
understand.
Just
drop the Phoenician thing for a second? I'm telling you about people who were from the Levant, and the Palestinians did not come from people in the Levant.
I think you just entered a conversation that I was having with. I'm not sure who this person is related to you, but I was having a conversation that you kind of interrupted. I feel like
I interrupted
maybe
you talked.
And it's just like it has nothing to do with the conversation. I feel like now you're trying to like shift it some other way.
No, you don't know what you're talking about.
I had a point to make, and I think you just interrupted that.
What was your point? That the Phoenicians were from the Levant? Because that's just not true.
Well, no. So they were in the Levant, and there were other civilizations, and we were made up from them. Canaanites. I mean, we come from Canaanites. We come from ancient Hebrews. Well, so can I get a sentence in without interruption?
Sure.
Maybe I can. Sure. Okay. So once again, that's not my point. Where they were in the Levant. There are other civilizations. There were other civilizations that were made up from them. We come from the Canaanites. We come from the ancient Hebrews. We also come from the Arab. We are made up of all of these people. We do. I did my DNA test. It said 80% Canaanite, ancient ancestry, illustrative DNA. Do you know that service?
Do you know how DNA tests work? Because I actually do, and I can explain it to you. Do you want me to explain to you how the like 23andMe? Do you want to know how they work? They take a DNA sample. For example, you want to take the Levant, for example. So they take the Levant area and they take a sample.
They do.
Wait, I'm trying to explain to you
DNA tests
something.
with ancient samples. Well, no, I know how it works. They do DNA tests with ancient samples from archaeological samples, ancient samples,
that's
not modern
how it
samples. No, I mean, well, that's the truth. The one I'm talking about, that's what they did, and that's exactly what I took.
But that's not how DNA tests work nowadays. How can they take DNA samples of ancient people that don't exist anymore?
Illustrative DNA. Do you want me to type in the chat? That's the company I used.
I can tell you how DNA tests work, okay? You're not letting me finish my sentence. Like I'm just
telling you what the service I used does. Amazing. And that is exactly what they do.
I'm explaining to you how modern day DNA tests work when they're telling you from what area you are from the world. Generally,
well, this is irrelevant. You're talking about ancestry. I mean, like ancestry.com.
You're very manipulative, you know that? Like you say
He's the best at doing that.
You try to block like whatever someone else is saying, and then when you don't know what you're saying, you say that's not what your point was.
What you're talking about is a different thing. You understand that?
I'm talking about ancient DNA tests. You just brought up your DNA test and said that it was from the Levant. So I'm trying to explain to you why your DNA test comes from the Levant.
You're arguing with yourself, first of all.
How am I arguing with myself?
Because I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about ancient DNA tests. It's a different test. It's a different thing. It's a different point. Once again, you were arguing with yourself.
Okay, so
ancient
let's say your
DNA test,
DNA
not
test,
modern. Not modern. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. That's
Right,
not what I
okay.
was doing.
So let's say your DNA test is ancient and you're from the Levant area, which most Palestinians, by the way, are not from the Levant area. They're Arabs who were
Well, no,
from
no, no,
Egypt
they
or
are. That's the
Lebanon.
thing.
No, they're not.
That's
That's
the thing.
not
They
the
are.
majority.
But that's the thing.
Why is the third most popular last name in Egypt is El Masri, which means from Egypt?
In Gaza, not in Egypt.
In Gaza, sorry. The
Okay,
third
so
the
so
third
so
most
what you're
popular
saying,
last
what you're
name.
saying about how Palestinians are not, from there,
They're
from the
not,
Levant.
because they're Arabs.
Well,
and
hang
Arabs
on,
come
hang
from
on,
the
hang on. I
Arabian
mean,
Peninsula.
is history static?
What's
Are
your
people
point?
static? Are people static?
No, they're not static.
Do people move?
Yes.
Okay,
So
okay,
you're
okay, but
proving my
history,
point
history,
that
is
people
history,
moved
is
into
history
the Levant.
static?
Thank you.
Is history? No, is history?
What's
We
your
moved on
point?
from that. I feel like I don't know. 2,000 years is static. History is static. Nobody is 100% anything.
Okay, yes.
You are not 100% from ancient Hebrews. I am not 100% Arab. I'm mixed Arab, Canaan, whatever, Phoenician.
Okay,
whatever.
yes. What's your point?
Well, Jews are always Jews.
Yeah, by the way, like, I took a DNA test as well, and I'm 99.9 Jewish.
This whole thing leads back to what this young man was saying. You cannot say I'm from Arabia.
You are, though.
I'm not that young. I'm 28.
Like, maybe you specifically are
no,
not. I'm not going to talk about you, because I don't know.
I'm not from Arabia, though. Like, I'm not from Arabia. Like, where are Syrians from?
Syria, but they're not. Syria was not Arab.
No, what happened? Okay, what happened to the people before them?
What do you mean? What happened to the people before them?
The Syrians.
I mean,
what happened to the people before them?
I can tell you that Arabs from the Arabian Peninsula came and colonized a bunch of countries. You want to talk about colonization for real? They came and colonized a bunch of countries and Islamized everything, basically. And then a lot of people started calling themselves Arab, but they weren't Arab or Muslim before.
Islamized and Arabized?
Yes, because I can tell you that just like Judaism is an ethno-religious group.
We called ourselves. We called ourselves Arab, and we weren't from Arabia.
Exactly, because you were not Arab.
Like you just said.
Right, and then Arabs came from the.
Oh no, thank you. I think you accidentally just proved my point. I mean, we called ourselves Arabs, and we're not from Arabia. Oh right, no, we're not 100% Arabian.
Because Arabs came to the area and Arabized the area.
Palestinians are mixed.
Wait, what are you not understanding? Syrians were not from the
Christ.
Arabian Peninsula, yes, and then Arabs from the Arabian Peninsula came and Islamized and Arabized Syria.
Say that again. Say that again. Where am I from?
I don't know about you. I'm not talking about you. I don't care where you're from.
What did you just say, though? What did you just say? I mean, am I not from the Arabian Peninsula?
I don't know. I just said I'm not speaking about you. You might have ties to the
because
Levant. I don't know about
your husband says otherwise. He said I am.
Sure, okay, so he can have his own opinions and his own thoughts. We can't have separate thoughts? Like, we're one person?
So then this is very confusing. Maybe you can step out of the conversation, because I don't know, it's not helping.
I just feel like you're feeling a little thherretened that I'm teaching you stuff that you don't know.
You're proving him wrong.
I'm not proving him wrong. He said a lot of amazing things.
You're telling me something the complete opposite of what he told me.
But I'm just telling you that I don't want to talk about you. He talked about you. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about people in general who are Arab from the Arabian Peninsula.
You were saying we were Arabized. You were saying we are Arabized. You're saying that we were Islamicized or Islamicized.
Yes,
whatever.
Yes,
exactly.
most of the Middle East was Islamicized.
Most of North Africa was Islamicized.
Wait, you just said exactly,
Jesus,
right?
bro.
So what is that called?
Yeah, that's what happens. They were.
Amazing. Yeah, they were. So what is that called? Not colonization?
You guys are the biggest colonizers.
They
became
Arab.
They became Arab peacefully? They were
culturally, they became... Arab is a culture. Yeah, they became Arab.
Really?
They say pay your jizya or convert to Islam, and if not, we're gonna ayu عليك يا مجنون يا حيوان. That's what they say.
Okay.
It's
I mean,
really
but
interesting
listen,
to me that you don't
listen.
you call Israel a colonizer.
Yeah, I mean,
but
listen.
you can't
Yeah,
look at
they wanted taxes. You want to look at
protection tax?
southern Spain.
Why do I need to pay taxes to practice my religion, to practice my belief? Why do I need? Do the Muslims pay jizya?
Do you want to look at? Do you want to look at southern Spain and how the Jews lived?
I'm not talking about southern Spain. I'm talking about Israel. I'm talking about, do Muslims, do they have any other rights, Muslims that live in Israel, praying and practicing their belief, other than Ramadan, where they're the most violent, where they commit the most terroristic attacks?
It depends. Well, it depends.
What do you mean it depends?
Do you consider,
why are you making your...
Do you consider the West Bank part of Israel?
The West Bank is not a part of Israel, no.
Do the Arabs,
it's not.
do
It's
the
not.
Muslims in Israel,
Good.
The Muslim Arabs in Israel, in proper Israel, pay jizya, a protection tax, to practice their religion?
Of course not.
No, they don't.
Okay, why is that?
So, okay, the West Bank, Palestinians
I'm not talking
do
about
live
the West
differently.
Bank. I'm talking about Israel, proper Israel.
Any non-Muslims in Jordan don't.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't pay tax.
That's really messed up. That in all Arab Muslim countries,
that's modern. That's modern world. Well, that's modern world.
What's modern world? Modern world to have to pay a protection tax to practice your religion? You live in America. What are you talking about?
No.